All right, welcome back to the Dividend Doggo channel here on YouTube. I'm giving you a weekly update on what I bought and how my portfolio ended up for the end of the week. This is Monday. It is President's Day. The markets are closed, and I wanted to do a little filming over the weekend, but it's been a super busy weekend and I did not get around to it. So I apologize for not getting this out on Saturday. But here we go. As always, the music is brought to us by Harris Heller and Stream Beats. Just wanted to show that the market was relatively flat for me this week. We ended up with a little bit of a gains, running just under $2,000. Some dividends collected and reinvested, which you will see in just a moment. But overall, most sectors were green this week, closing out the week. AbbVie had an interesting week after having a really solid earnings call. They spiked up last week and then dropped down a little bit. Telecom, AT&T back in the red where it's normally. Kind of an interesting play that last week's video was green for AT&T. That doesn't happen much these days. But I'm actually pretty excited for the Schneider cut of Justice League coming out in March here, in just about a month and a week, I think. That should be pretty fantastic. I'm actually looking forward to watching that. Looks like a totally different movie. Tech was up a little bit. Apple was down, but HMI, about a month and a half ago, I made a move out of Cisco and IBM into HMI, which make fitness watches, healthcare tracking devices. They had a pretty good week, pretty stellar, 21% increase to the portfolio from this position alone. This position, I've obviously not had it very long. 8th of February, this swapped over, so a little over a week. That can't be right. Maybe it is right. Time's just flying on me here. But yeah, this, I think, what was it? All-time, January 19th is when I initiated this position. You can see the all-time swap out over there to $8,000 in. That is pretty wild to see these gains. I figured this company would start popping off. I decided to make the purchase into this company even though it's not a dividend payer, because I saw some really solid potential from both trying out the product for about a month, a little over a month now. I've had the watch. My wife is using the watch. My mother is using the watch. It's really interesting. I have the Amazfit T-Rex is the watch that I'm using, and I'm amazed at the battery life and the quality on this thing. So I'm very happy with this company's performance overall. Obviously, their one-day change was 8%. This was for Friday the 12th. That's pretty phenomenal. I'm really happy with those gains. I'm not sure this is going to be a long-term hold for me, but I definitely think that it's got the potential to run into the 20s. So yeah, that tech sector was brought up by that pretty significantly. Then utilities, not too much changed here. VST came up a bit. Duke was down pretty significantly for last week. But, you know, VST just, it needs to calm down. I can't believe that the stock is still running up. They've got earnings coming up in a little over a week and a half. Super excited for that because I think it's going to be pretty phenomenal news, and we'll kind of see where things go from there. Yeah, I'm still adding to this position. As you'll see, it was down a tiny bit on Friday, but it had a pretty good week. I'm still adding, working toward that 2,000 share goal on this stock. And I'm thinking we might see the dividend update with this earnings call coming up at the end of the month this month. So I'm gonna hop over to everything else was just kind of very even, very flat. Industrials, the monthly stocks were up a little bit. Energy was up, primarily driven by the VLO spike, and EPD. EPD has just been going strong since I added it. I'm a little bit nervous about the K forms, but my accountant's gonna be doing that anyway, so I'll be just handing that off and seeing how complicated the K forms actually are. Using a CPA that actively does stock transactions and such, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. If anything, it'll just be a little filing fee, which that stock has definitely made enough money that it's not going to be that big of a deal. Consumer was up a fair bit, primarily driven by Mo and Disney this week. Disney just had an absolutely crazy Friday. They were down almost 2%, but overall for the week, they were up 3%. So I was looking at this and I was like, if this ends up a 6% gain on the week, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. But it did come down a little bit on Friday. Disney's just been on a roll. They're taking the steamboat all the way to the bank. Other positions, PepsiCo went down a little bit, even despite having a pretty good earnings call. Starbucks was down a little bit. Nike's down a little bit. I don't have a lot in these companies. I'm tempted to cut them over time, but there's just something about, wanting to own the Jordan dream here. I think Nike's going to be a great play in the long run, especially with their transitions with their online stores and shopping. I don't know if you've tried to buy shoes recently, but with the pandemic, it's kind of a nightmare to get in there and try on shoes. So it's kind of interesting, but I do want to go in and show some of the dividends that came in. We had Apple and EPD come in. I immediately rolled those into Lockheed Martin. This is a low position for me. I only had about one share prior to this. This added just below one share, like 0.99 of a share, so almost a share bought with dividends alone. This company it has a $1 billion backlog of work to be done, and it's just going to be a steady company all for the next 10 to 15 years at least. I think their backlog is like 5 years long, and it's multiple billions of dollars. This company earns a little over 3% in dividends, which means that this position is going to pay out, just this one share is going to pay me back $10 this year, over $10, just for buying this one share, which is pretty phenomenal. I think they've got a runway to just print money for the future. I don't believe the defense aerospace is going to change all that much over the next decade. It's just going to keep improving. They're going to keep pumping out product, keep getting more and more and more contracts. So I am going to be putting a little bit more into that company over the next year. But then my big buy was VST. I put in another $1,000. The referral bonuses that came in from last week went into VST. This allowed me to pick up just under 50 shares at 49.21. Just chunking away, adding to this position, just dollar cost averaging into it. I'm gonna do another buy this week, which I'll show you in this weekend's video coming up, and we're kind of just gonna keep on chugging along. The key for me is, as you can see, just consistently investing. As I've got money, as paychecks come in, I do a deposit, send in the money, put it in the portfolio, and just keep adding and adding and adding. And consistency is the real key to your success in the stock market, in my opinion. If you're picking quality companies, or you just want to go the ETF route, which is the one and done, you just pick it, set it, and forget it, just invest your money, all of those work really, really well with consistency, and just continue investing. And thank you for following me on this journey. Clicking the like button, subscribing, come back and watch another video in the near future. I do want to get into more content about why I'm picking some of the companies that I have been picking and why I see them as having these bright futures. I might get into more analysis stuff and how I chose my stock positions in this portfolio in future videos. I also want to get into how exactly I'm funding these positions, because it's, for most people, trying to put in, $3,000 to $4,000 a month into a portfolio is near impossible. But the way that I've structured my investments to be able to continuously keep putting money in over and over again every month, every week, just be consistent and throwing it in there has been, I think, my big key to success. I don't really talk about this much on the channel, or I haven't talked about it yet, but this is one portfolio. I do have a growth portfolio and a 401k account from past employment. So I keep my accounts kind of separated out, and I've only really shown this portfolio here on YouTube. I haven't been adding to the other portfolios all that much, other than my wife's 401k. I do add to an IRA as well every year. For the past several years now, I've been doing the IRA account, just socking away as much money as possible, because obviously the goal is to retire before 50. I've still got well over a decade for that. So being in my 30s and trying to invest as heavily as possible into the market to secure a future is just kind of my dream goal right now, and my true passion is just finding ways to have my money create more money and create financial freedom on this fire journey to retire early and be financially independent. That's what it's all about. That's the game. So it's all about how you play it. Thank you for watching, though, and I'll see you in another video soon.